Welcome to two examples of simplifying complex fractions. A complex fraction is a fraction that has a numerator and or denominator that also contains a fraction. Looking at our first example, if we focus on this larger fraction bar here, notice how the numerator has a fraction of 5/8 and the denominator has a fraction of 3/4. That's what makes this a complex fraction. One important thing to remember when simplifying a complex fraction is that a fraction bar means division, which means you can rewrite this as 5/8 divided by 3/4. And then when dividing by fractions, we normally multiply by the reciprocal. So instead of dividing by 3/4, we will multiply by 4/3. So this is equivalent to 5/8 times 4/3. But before we multiply, we want to simplify. Notice that 4 and 8 share a common factor of 4. There's 1 4 and 4, and 2 4s and 8. And now we can multiply, knowing our product will be in simplest form. So we have 5 times 1 for the numerator, and 2 times 3 or 6 for the denominator. This complex fraction simplifies to 5/6. Now our second complex fraction is a little more involved. Again, if we focus on the larger fraction bar, notice how we have a sum of fractions in the numerator and a difference of fractions in the denominator. So what we'll do is first perform the addition and subtraction, and then write the complex fraction as a division problem, just like we did in the first example. But remember, to add fractions, we must have a common denominator. So for 2/3 plus 1/2, the least common denominator will be the least common multiple of 2 and 3, which would be 6. So if we want denominators of 6, we'll have to multiply 2/3 by 2 over 2, since 3 times 2 is 6. And for 1/2, we'll have to multiply by 3 over 3, since 2 times 3 is 6. Now before we go to the next step, let's go and take a look at 3/4 minus 1/12. Again, we need a common denominator, which will be the least common multiple of 4 and 12. And since 4 times 3 is 12, we'll multiply 3/4 by 3 over 3. So now 2/3 plus 1/2 is equivalent to 4/6 plus 3/6. And 3/4 minus 1/12 is equivalent to 9/12 minus 1/12. So now I'll go ahead and perform the addition and subtraction. 4/6 plus 3/6 would be 7/6. And 9/12 minus 1/12 would be 8/12. But notice how 8/12 does simplify, since 8 and 12 share a common factor of 4. Let's go ahead and simplify this now. We'll divide both the numerator and denominator by 4, which means we now have 7/6 divided by, this would be 2/3. Now we can write this as a division problem. Again, this means 7/6 divided by 2/3. So 7/6 divided by 2/3 is equivalent to 7/6 times the reciprocal of 2/3, which would be 3/2. And again, before we multiply, we can simplify. 3 and 6 share a common factor of 3. There is 1 3 and 3, and 2 3s and 6. So we have a numerator of 7 and a denominator of 2 times 2, or 4. So this complex fraction simplifies to 7/4. Okay, in the next several examples, we'll look at complex fractions that also contain variables. I hope you found this helpful.